Joining us now to discuss if BYU is an NCAA tournament team and much more is former BYU basketball head coach Steve Cleveland on Zoom via the Deseret First Credit Union hotline. Coach, welcome back to BYU Sports Nation. How are you surviving life with social distancing in place?
It's good. Doing a lot more reading than I used to do. I was playing a lot of golf, but that stopped here in California. That's not everywhere, but they shut that down. But you know what? I've got a YSA group that I'm involved with. This thing's a lot of time, and I found a lot. We've got lots of grandkids that want to slip on over here and shoot baskets in the backyard. So we find plenty of things to do.
Yeah, and different laws with different states, right? California is certainly different than Utah on that and whatnot. Okay, let's talk about the what BYU basketball is doing right now, and that is getting the right players into this program for what they hope will be another season of an NCAA tournament-worthy team. Obviously, this last season absolutely was, 6th seed by all indications. Now BYU is going into the transfer portal. You're a guy that went into the whatever it was in the 90s and got some guys like Ron Solis and Brian Hamilton was on the squad, and they made an immediate impact. What do you expect from a guy like Matt Harms, who signed with BYU last week?
Well, first of all, yeah, there was a significant paradigm shift when we got here because there were very few players in the program. I think we ended up having 22 transfers while we were here.
Woo!
So it is how we rebuilt the program. And there's a long list of them, and a lot of them played. Some of them played in the league, and some of them played in Europe. So it was a big part of our success was having that kind of shift in direction. And it also helped with the missionaries. As far as what's going on with Coach Pope and his transfers, they've been unbelievable. I look at Matt Harms, 7'3". He's about 8 and 5 a game. They have size. The interesting thing for me, it seems that I don't think there's going to be any question he's going to come in and have an impact. I've seen all the statistics. He's like, when he's in the game, teams are shooting 48% at the rim. When he's not, they're shooting 59%. So he's got a defensive presence. He's got a rebounding presence. But for me, I don't know Wyatt Lowell. I haven't watched him practice. Everybody's telling me he could probably play the 3 because he shoots it well. Certainly, Gavin Baxter is going to be somebody that's in the mix inside. And Richard Harward may be the best of all of them. I don't know. I mean, I've watched him play, tough guy. And so you've got 4 really, really good bigs there that are going to play. I think Matt Harms is going to be a great addition. I think he looks like he'll be a guy that's going to probably play 20 to 25 minutes a game. I think they actually need a guard or two. And I know they signed a couple of JUCO guards, wing guys that can shoot it and defend. But maybe another point guard might fit in there nicely for Alex. But other than that, that's a great get late. And anybody that can protect the rim and be 7'3" is going to help them.
Coach, you bring up BYU probably needing, well, we feel certainly needing another ball handler, and you see Mark Pope and his staff going after a bunch of notable guys that are all guards and ball handlers in the transfer portal right now. That said, with the roster as it stands right now, without any more transfers, is BYU basketball an NCAA tournament team, or do they need that guard to feel good about getting back to the dance?
I think that the talent's there. I think the tradition's there. I think everything's in place for them to get back to the tournament. It would. The thing you don't know is injuries and circumstances and, sickness and whatever might happen that you lose guys. And there's just a little bit of an attrition. And they've got enough guards. It's just a matter of, who can Alex Martello, is he going to play 38 minutes a game? So, no, I do believe this is an NCAA tournament team. And again, I've seen clips of Spencer Johnson and Gideon George. These are athletic guys that can defend, and so I think they're going to be better defensively next year, just with all the size that they have and the length. But no, I think this is an NCAA type team, and maybe the prognosticators don't feel that way right now because there's just a lot of unanswered questions, And if Gavin Baxter plays like he practiced at times. When he was sitting and waiting to play and shooting the 3, a lot of those things we don't know yet. But it's not a team that you look at and go, wow, it's got the same 3-point shooting prowess that last year's team had. It doesn't. But you never know how people are going to develop. I love Connor Harding. I think he's going to be really special. He can play the 2 or the 3 or the 4. And I think he's going to have a lot more confidence, and he's going to get a lot more shots as well.
Those who love Connor Harding, Steve Cleveland, Spencer Linton, Jarom Jordan, and Paisley Johnson. It's those 4 people and a lot more, right? Connor, we expect to develop. Alex, we expect to develop. Gavin Baxter is a diamond in the rough, right? We expected him to have a huge sophomore year. He was injured. Then all these guys, there's not a ton of dudes that I don't think we expect to take a major step forward. And it's fun because, Cleve, of all the guys on the team, there's not a D1 double-digit scorer coming back from their last season playing, right? There's some JC guys that had that. But you bring this team together, and with this staff, player development was so good this last year. How good do you expect that to be with this group the upcoming season?
Well, I think, first of all, you're coming off a phenomenal year. There's great energy. Everybody wants to get in the gym, and they probably can't. So that the uniqueness of how they're preparing this summer. But no, I mean, here's the thing. The culture of this program right now with this young coaching staff, there's so much energy and so much positivity that they just believe. And I think anybody that comes into this program comes with a mindset that, hey, we're going to the tournament. And that's a big part of it. I mean, it's not – listen, Gavin Baxter really hasn't played a lot of minutes. Wyatt Lowell averaged about 10 points a game at UVU. It's not the same thing, but, everybody's really high on him. And I don't think the transition is going to be that difficult for him. First of all, these guys have all been practicing for a year as well. I mean, Richard Harward is a guy that can play in a lot of places. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that, that the coaching staff at UVU and Mark and coaching staff here at BYU have developed him. And so they got plenty of size. But, here's the thing. I will say that, we're going to talk about Kobe Lee, who ended up playing really well. But I think that at the end of the day, there are times you want to play small. And teams where you want to put 4 shooters on the floor. And I think that might be the only missing piece right now. Again, if Wyatt Lowell is a 38 or 39% three-point shooter, then, maybe their problems are solved. But at the end of the day, I know there are times you like to go small, late game situations.
Steve Cleveland with us on BYU Sports Nation. Coach, when you look at Mark Pope and what he's done in year number 1, and you see an entirely different roster coming back, is it fair to expect BYU to get even somewhere close to what they did last year, or is it too much? Should we lay off that a little bit?
Well, I mean, that's the thing about expectations. They had a phenomenal first year. And you know what? I mean, they had a really good team. And I mean, getting Yoli to come back, TJ had an amazing, there was some experience there. I mean, it wasn't like it was a rebuild. I mean, it wasn't 1997. It was a group of guys that they brought together and got the very best out of them. And everybody saw that energy. I don't see any reason why there isn't. I can tell you this, the coaching staff has high expectations and those players have high expectations, and they're not going to back off from that. So why would not the fan base have high expectations? And the fan base is as good as it gets in the country. I don't think you need to be unrealistic. Absolutely. People have to be patient. But I think this coaching staff proved itself in the first year that they're going to push the right buttons. They're they're checking all the right boxes. Again, all of the intangibles are in place, and they've got bodies. They've got bodies. And you've got 2 coaches on that staff that played at the highest level. So the development of bigs is phenomenal. And now, yes, there should be expectations because that's what you want. That's what you want. I mean, as a head coach, sometimes you probably get in the quiet of your office and think, wow, these people are expecting way too much of me. But at the end of the day, I think this coaching staff has really embraced that. And that's what they're about. That's what the players have embraced. I don't see them backing down and settling for anything less than what they had this year. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But at the end of the day, that's going to be their goal.
When you look at this next season, because last year it was 7 seniors. Jake's back, Yoli's back, TJ, last hurrah, haven't made the tourney, didn't even make the NIT the year before. That's the rallying cry. Like, that was easy to, go, hey, we got to do this, right? So this group, there's 2 seniors, maybe a third if they get another transfer in Barcelo and Harm. So that's not the rallying cry. What is the rallying cry, in your opinion, in terms of what Mark Pope could use as motivation for this group?
Well, I think, first of all, the NC2A tournament seems to be what is most important in college basketball, even more so than maybe winning conference championships. I'm sure that'll be one of their goals. But I think that they were kind of deprived of that opportunity this year, and they're going to do everything they can to get back to that place. So I think one thing we got to love about Mark is that day in and day out, he's got a rallying cry. I've never seen anybody use social media better than he does. He's phenomenal in that way. The guys embrace him. There's great energy, and I kind of, I mean, we didn't have the social media, but I can remember having 5 junior college young coaches that were kind of all hadn't had an opportunity before. There is a great amount of energy in that staff, just like there was with Dave and Nate with me and Brian. I mean, I remember it. I remember the opportunity to come in, and it reminds me, I mean, there's a lot of different factors, and Coach Pope has a great pedigree, but it was a situation still that we were all about the same age then, and there was a great amount of energy. And I just like the energy, and I just feel like the rallying cry will be just what it was this year, is that we want to get back to that tournament, and we want to be better every day and focus on those positive things that Coach has them focusing on. And I think the relationships with players, the connections, we don't hear a lot about that, but there have been a lot of really athletic, talented teams that never reached their full potential. That's not going to be a problem for this coaching staff. That's one of the things they're really, really good at, is getting guys to buy in together. And there's a connection there that I think is invaluable in terms of getting to tournaments and winning championships.
Steve, it's great to catch up with you and to see your face. Glad you're doing well. We wish you the best as you teach your grandkids those fundamentals of basketball in the backyard. They're getting their shots up. And can't wait to see you again soon in person. Hopefully we get to play golf too as well.
And
hey, I'm going to be in town this summer. I got a son moving back to Provo, so I'll be in Provo a little bit more often to see those grandkids.
And that brick interior is really nice, by the way. That looks great.
So I got the Marriott Center behind me.
Yeah, you got to represent.
Got to rep.
Always doing so with class. Coach, great to catch up with you. Thanks so much.
See ya. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Steve Cleveland on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline via Zoom. Deseret First, you know why, we show how.
It's like a level